Hello, everyone. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to another episode of Unboxed, where we unbox the power and the potential of healthy relationships.
I'm Dr. Robert Davis.
Okay, of course, we're running into a little technical difficulty right now. So I'm going to remove myself just a second, but don't you go in.
I'm Dr. Robert Davis, family life educator and relationship coach. And welcome to Unboxed, a frank and straightforward conversation about relationships. We're going to talk about family, church, workplace, and all other types of relationships. Join me for the next few moments as we unbox the power and potential of relationships and help you to live your best life.
All right, technology is awesome when it works like it's supposed to, but at least now we got our introduction out the way, and I'm so glad to have each of you joining us for Unbox, where again we unbox the power and the potential of healthy relationships. And we're not just talking about family relationships, while that is a very important one. We're also talking about workplace relationships, as you're going to see today. We're also talking about church family relationships. We're talking about community relationships, organizations that we may be a part of. Anytime that we're in a relationship, we want to make sure that we are operating and functioning at our supreme or at our optimal level. And so we want to share with you. I've been encouraging each of you to share your questions. We want to answer them on the air. We will try to protect your anonymity as much as possible. So we don't use last names and we don't use cities. We typically, or rather, we don't use exact locations. We may just use a state, or if it's a large city like Los Angeles or something, we'll just throw in the city. But we do want to help to protect your anonymity. So share your questions right along here with us. And we've already received many questions, but I want to make sure that I am receiving your questions as well. So let me go ahead and get us started today. Our question for today comes from Kim. Kim lives in Denver, and she asked, I have two coworkers that can't seem to get along, and both of them bring their issues about the other one to me, or they make snide comments about each other to me. I don't comment or say anything negative about either one of them, but I still feel two-faced. How can I handle this situation? Because I'm tired of being caught in the middle. Well, I forgot you, Kim. I want to say welcome to the club. There are so many people who are caught in this situation. And you notice something here. This is a workplace situation, but it could very well just be a home situation where two relatives don't get along. And so both of them are calling you, dragging you into the middle of them. The situation is the same. She's experiencing it at home. And the reason that I share this is because relationships are relationships, whether they are a workplace relationship, a church relationship, or whatever. Relationships are relationships. And when we can learn to manage and to function in a very healthy way, no matter what relationship we're in, then we'll be able to be healthy and function in a productive way, no matter what relationship we're in. So let me go straight to Kim's question. Kim, let me share with you some theory, and then I'm going to give you some practical advice. Here's the theory. The theory is that when two people are unable to manage the stress, the conflict, or the anxiety in their relationship, they look for a third person to kind of help them to carry the load. And whenever that happens, and it is as natural in relationships as two people saying good morning to each other. But whenever that happens, when two people are in a relationship and there's conflict, there's stress, there's tension, or whatever it may be, they will seek to bring in a third person to try to carry that heavy load. When that happens, it's something that's known as triangling. Now, I mean, that's a wonderful word to throw around and make it sound like you're halfway intelligent. Triangling. Well, all triangling means is you and I can't resolve it. And so now, or it's getting too emotionally taxing for me. And so let me bring in somebody else and try to help them to carry the load. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what I'm dealing with and I'm going to pour it off to somebody else. That's what you're going through, Kim, at work. Both of your coworkers have reached a place where their relationship is very tense, very anxious. And so what are they doing? They are both trying to say, hey, can you help us to carry this load? Here's the only problem with that, as we talked about on our previous episodes, and that is the more often that we avoid, the more often that we deflect or push off to somebody else, we don't learn how to manage these things ourselves. So you're not helping your friends by not allowing them to manage the relationship themselves. So one of the things, and I'm going to state the obvious because I know you've already done it, but I'm going to state the obvious for all of our listeners here today. And let me just take a moment and say, I am so glad that each of you have joined us today. I'm glad to see my friends here on both Facebook and YouTube. And I want you to continue to follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at SWGUnboxed. That's at SWGUnboxed. Continue to follow us. So here you are, Kim. Here's the advice that I know you already know, and that is, when one of them comes to you with a problem or an issue, simply say to them, have you spoke to the other person? I hear what you're saying, but there's nothing really that I can do about it. Have you taken the opportunity to speak to, Sally, Sue, James, or John, whoever it may be? Here's what their response is going to be. I've tried, but they don't listen. That's the typical response. I've tried, but they don't listen. And so, there you are back in the middle again. But at least try that approach, because sometimes people haven't tried talking to the other person and the light goes off and they say, oh, yeah, let me go tell her or tell him how I really feel. So that's the first approach. But what you ultimately want to do, and there's no way that I can go through all the steps in this short broadcast, but we will cover this more, because this is a very popular question that comes in over and over. So it's going to come in many times in different ways. So I'm going to share with you some additional things, but know that I can't go through everything today, and we'll pick it up at another time. But what you ultimately want to do, and here we go. What you ultimately want to do is you want to de-triangle. In other words, you want to get out from the middle of that mess the best way that you can. And here's one of the ways that here's one of the important things that you need to do, that you need to understand as it relates to how do I get out from the middle of this mess. Number one, try to maintain a healthy relationship with both individuals separate from each other, and as much as possible with them together. So they may not get along, but it's very important for me to be intentional in saying, I'm going to have a strong relationship with Sally, but I'm also going to have a strong relationship with Jim. I'm going to make sure that I have a strong relationship with both of them, and that individually in the relationship, or when the three of us are together at a meeting or wherever it may be, in the conference room or in the break room or whatever, I'm going to make sure that I am the best person that I can be when I'm with them together, or when I'm with them individually. So I want to make sure that I maintain a strong relationship. That is very important in being the best that you can be. Because again, you want to gain the skills to be an excellent person in all relationships. Another thing that I want you to begin thinking about, and depending on their personality, the level of your relationship, the type of relationship you have with them, it's going to look a little bit different. But here's the next thing that I really want you to begin thinking about. And that is, as they're trying to put their burdens on you, try to get them to take ownership for whatever issues that they have. And the best way to do this is to ask simple questions like the what questions. What happened? Helping them to move to a place of factual, getting them to a place where they can speak in factual terms. This is what happened. For instance, they'll usually come and say, he makes me so upset when he does that foolishness. We were just in that meeting. Did you see how he was kissing up to the boss and how he was trying to say that our department is not doing what it's supposed to do? Oh, he makes me feel so upset. So one of the things you want to do is just have a conversation about the factual things. Well, tell me a little bit more. What exactly happened as you remember it? And of course, you don't want to be an investigator and just be that cold about it. But in the natural flow of your relationship, get them to move from a place of how they feel about what they remember happening to just working through what actually happened. Why is this so necessary? And I'm going to close here. And I think we're going to pick up on this question tomorrow when we tune back in tomorrow. I'm going to pick up. This is a very important question. I'm going to pick up here tomorrow. The reason that this is so important is because you want to transition them to a thinking place. The more we are intelligent, now that doesn't mean that you ignore your feelings, but you can't live by feelings. You've got to live by reality. So the more that you can help individuals to move from this intense feeling, be aware of their feelings, be conscious of their feelings, and for you, be very respectful of their feelings. You be very respectful of their feelings, but help them to start thinking in a very factual way. When we come back here tomorrow, we're going to pick up a few more tips because this is something that happens in families, this is at homes. Kim, I want you to tune in tomorrow, and not just you, Kim. I want all of those who are listening and watching to tune in tomorrow. We're going to finish up on this question about what do I do when people are dragging me into the middle of their mess. As I said before, 2 simple things: stay connected and try to help them in the context of the relationship that you have with them. Try to help them to think about how to move to a place where they begin thinking about reality and facts of what has happened versus being stuck in how they feel. We're going to pick up here tomorrow. I want to thank each of you for joining with us today. And remember that with all of your relationship needs, the purpose of Unboxed is to help individuals, to help businesses, to help organizations to create a healthy relationship culture. I'm going to look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Kim, we'll finish up answering that question tomorrow. And until then, y'all have a wonderful day.
Seasoned with Grace, Unboxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at SWG-Unboxed.org. That's SWG-Unboxed.org.